Welcome to the Words to Empower podcast, featuring Bishop Frank Stewart, pastor of the Acts Ministry in Conway and North Little Rock. And now, Pastor Stewart.
The wise men saw the star. They heard creation speaking to them. What was it saying? Creation was saying to them something great and awesome and magnificent is getting ready to happen. The great I am, the Messiah, is coming into the world. It spoke to them. It spoke to them. Creation is speaking to us even now, even as the seasons are changing and the leaves are turning. It is speaking to us. It is telling us something that we have to change, that we are fragile. The Bible says the grass withereth and the flower fadeth. The grass, it withers, the flower fadeth. Man, he dies. We can look in creation and see our fragility, our frailty. We can look at creation and realize, just like the trees, they change in the midst of seasons, that there are seasons that are happening in our lives, and we must change. And then one day, just like the things in creation, death comes. Death comes to all of us. How do we know that? Job said, man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. Now think about that. That was Job. He's talking about man. But how did he get us to really get it, to really understand what he's saying? Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. He just doesn't leave us there. He goes deeper. He says he cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. So he says, when you see creation and you see flowers that fade, he's saying that is what our life is like. Our life is fading. We come here dying. He goes on to say, he fleeth also as a shadow and continues not. We know a shadow. You can see a shadow, but the shadows are not eternal. You see a shadow, but then the sun comes and the shadow vanishes. It disappears. He just said, when you look at creation, you can see that our lives are temporal. Temporal. And he says to God, dost thou open thine eyes to such a one that bringeth me into judgment with thee? So he's talking about how frail we are. He's talking about man that is born of a woman. He's like a flower. He's going to be cut down. He's like a shadow. It's going to stop. It's going to cease. And he's talking about man's life. Man's life. But then he says something in verse number 7 of Job 14. He says, for there is hope for a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that its tender branch will not cease. So he says to us now, if we're looking at ourselves, and he's saying, you look at creation, how things come and things die, and he says, but there's hope for that. He says, through its root, though its root grow old in the earth, and its stalk dies in the ground, yet at the scent of water it will bud and bring forth ball like a plant. But man dieth and wastes away, man expireth. Where is he? As the water falleth from the sea, and the flood decayeth and dries up, so man lies down and rises not, till the heaven be no more, and they shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. He says, if a man die, shall he live again. Now he's telling us that when we look in creation, we see that things that die, the tree that is cut down, but because of water, it will come back. It will begin to sprout again. He's talking creation. He's talking resurrection. In creation, he has planted the message of of resurrection. In creation speaks of resurrection. Creation speaks of death. Every day and night, it speaks of change. It speaks of the vicissitudes of life, how things change from one day to another. It speaks of there's light and there's darkness. That's what creation is teaching us. It's teaching us. And that's what the Bible is saying, that God, in Psalms 19, it talks about the heaven proclaims the glory of God. It talks about the skies, displays his craftsmanship. It talks about the day after day continue to speak, night after night, make him known. They speak without a sound or word. Their voice is never heard. What he is saying that he's not saying there's no sound in creation. What he's saying, there's no articulation like man would articulate. But the articulation is in God's word. So just like the wise men, when they saw that star, it spoke to them. It spoke to them. What did it say? It says, pack up, get ready, time to move. That's what it said to them. It said it without saying a word. But this is the thing we have to understand. When you think about speaking, and when the eyes see, it's a whole nother message that is conveyed. Somebody said that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I believe it's worth 1,000,000 words. So what God did in creation, he shows us pictures that speaks to us.
Stay tuned for more of Frank Stewart. And now for some special announcements.
Thanks for partnering with the Acts Ministries. We value your service and your donations. That's why we've made it easy to make contributions to support our ministry. Simply go to your web browser and click the search bar and type in actsministriesonline.org. Then click Donate Online. It's really that easy. For mobile giving, text the amount you wish to donate to 501-302-4242. That's Simple Give.
And now, more of Pastor Frank Stewart.
They speak to us. They scream at us. So when we see the sun, we see the moon, it is declaring something to us. Now let's go back to Psalms 19, because I just wanted to insert that about the star of Bethlehem, and how it spoke to the wise men. But now watch what it says here in Psalms 19 and verse number 4. It says, yet their message has gone throughout the earth, and their words to all the world. God has made a home in the heavens for the sun. So he says now, the message that creation is declaring is throughout the whole earth. And then it says that their words to all the world, God has made a home in the heavens for the sun. He's made a dome. He's made a bedroom. He's made a place for the sun. He says in verse 5, it bursts forth like a radiant bridegroom after his wedding. It rejoices like a great athlete, eager to run the race. The sun rises at one end of the heavens and follows its course to the other end. Nothing can hide from its heat. So you look at that as he described the sun and all of creation in Psalms 19 as he begins to speak. He talks about creation talking, creation speaking. And brothers and sisters, this is very important, because God has told us that we should be alert, we should be watching, because he has created the heavens to speak to us. He says that to us in Genesis. It's created for the stars, the moon, the sun, the heavens. It is like his billboard. It is like his giant blackboard where he writes on it, telling us that time is coming to an end, telling us that he is sovereign, he is almighty, he is unlimited, he is greater than his own creation. So when you look at Genesis, it talks about he created this. He created the heavens and the stars. And he did that to give us signs in the heavens. So we can look at the signs and we can read the signs and we can understand what is going on. Jesus was quite upset at some of the religious people of his day, and he was upset because they were not listening to creation. Just think about that. These people were not listening to creation, and that is the reason why Jesus was upset with them, because they were not listening to creation. Creation is speaking all the time. And many times we're saying, well, I don't have any communication with God. God has built his voice in creation. Now watch this. And this is in Matthew chapter 16. I want to read this to you in the New Living Translation. It says, one day the Pharisees and the Sadducees came to test Jesus, demanding that he show them a miraculous sign from heaven to prove his authority. Jesus replied, you know the saying, red sky at night means fair weather tomorrow. Red sky in the morning means foul weather all day. You know how to interpret the weather signs in the sky, but you don't know how to interpret the signs of the time. This is so crucial. This is so powerful, because I want you to get this, because what the Lord has just said is something that is so powerful, and if we're not careful, we miss it. We miss it. Now, think about the wise men. When they saw that star, they were able to interpret what it meant. It had a spiritual connotation, a spiritual meaning. Messiah was getting ready to be born. Think about that. He says these people, when they look at the weather, they can interpret the weather and tell you what kind of weather it's going to be. When they look at the sky, look at the heavens or sky, they can tell you what it means in the natural. That's good. You got to hear that. When they look at it, and we got weathermen, we got meteorologists that can look at this and they can tell you, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen. That's in the natural. But it has a greater meaning than that. And the other meaning is a spiritual meaning. Because now Jesus says, now you know when it's, you know what it means, what kind of weather we're going to have. But do you know that it means that the Lord is soon to come? Think about that. It has a double meaning, what he's saying. He said, and what you're doing, you're only looking at the surface meaning. You only look at the meaning on the surface. It has a double meaning. The surface meaning is that it is physical. It means the weather is going to be foul. It is probably going to storm. It's going to rain. But is that all that it is saying? I want you to think about that. Have you ever been having a conversation with somebody and you're talking to them and they only grasp the surface, the non-important? I mean, it's important, but it's not important to the magnitude that you're trying to convey to them. Jesus created the world to convey a message for signs to us. Those signs go beyond just physical signs. Yeah, that's important. Take cover, take shelter. This is what kind of day it's going to be. Think about that. He wanted us to know even what to expect.
For mobile giving, Text the amount you wish to donate to 501-302-4242.
The Acts Church in North Little Rock is located at 1224 Franklin Street. Morning Glory begins at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Sunday school begins at 8:30 a.m. And for a powerful word, join us at 9:30 a.m. for our morning worship service. Bible study is each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. At our Conway location, Morning Glory begins at 10 a.m. Sunday school begins at 10:30 a.m. Worship service begins at 11:30 a.m. On Thursday, our Bible class begins at 6:30 p.m. For more information, go to actsministriesonline.org or give us a call at 501-329-2055.
Thank you for tuning in to the Acts Ministry Podcast. The Acts Church is located at 1423 England Street in Conway and 1224 Franklin Street in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Tune in each day to hear an inspiring word from Pastor Frank Stewart.
Hi, I'm Jackie Stewart, First Lady of Acts Ministries in both North Little Rock and Conway. And I want to invite you to this year's Winning Women Warriors Conference, November the 2nd through the 4th, right here. We have a guest speaker in the person of Bishop Ann Story Pratt from Springfield, Ohio, and you don't want to miss this powerful move of God. Our theme this year is Armed and Dangerous, coming from Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18. So join us right here for a powerful move of God as we break every chain, as we annihilate the enemy, coming armed and dangerous to this year's Winning Women Warriors Conference. For more details, see us at our website at www.actsministriesonline.org for more information. Come and join us right here. We look to see you there. God bless you is our prayer.